What's up guys, Jeremy with thewarriorsolution.com. In this video, we are talking about the Strike Industries Jellyfish. Not a sea creature, a protective cover for your Trijicon RMR. This little guy is a piece of molded plastic that is designed to cover a Trijicon RMR and protect it while transporting it. For example, this is my Agency Arms M&P, and this is my Trijicon RMR Type 2. I'm still recovering from the kidney transplant I underwent in order to afford this thing. Anyways, this little piece of plastic fits perfectly over the RMR and snaps into place to protect it, like I said, during transportation. The interesting thing about the Strike Industries Jellyfish is that it is transparent, like a jellyfish. Meaning, if I'm carrying this gun with the RMR cover installed and a threat presents itself, I can draw and acquire my dot inside my RMR through the actual cover itself and engage that threat effectively. RMR, jellyfish. Let's see how this goes. It's not a perfect solution, it's not a perfect sight picture, but it is possible, it is feasible to actually engage threats or targets with the RMR cover on. To my knowledge, Strike Industries is the only company manufacturing transparent RMR covers. So if you are looking for a cover to protect your Trijicon RMR during transport or storage or whatever, check out Strike Industries. Now on Strike Industries website, they do mention if you have rear sights behind your RMR like I do here, my rear sights are behind the RMR, this will not fit correctly. And sure enough, that's exactly right. You can see there where the jellyfish is interacting with those rear sights and basically preventing it from going on. So I do have to modify this slightly so it will fit over those rear sights. So, let's do that now. Ugh. I wonder if I could just use... Alright, that was a terrible idea too. Hold on. Let's try this. You know where my iPro is?
Wouldn't it be in your shooting bag?
Yeah. Well, that actually didn't turn out terrible. Now let's talk about pros and cons with the Strike Industries Jellyfish. Pros would be it's very affordable, it's very nicely fitted to the RMR in question, and it's transparent, meaning I can shoot accurately with it installed. Cons would be that it doesn't fit every RMR. If you have a dual illuminated model, it will not fit, so double check what kind of RMR you actually have before you place your order for the Strike Industries Jellyfish. Number two, it will not fit with rear iron sights attached behind the RMR like this one is. It will fit on your gun if you have your irons in front of your RMR, but you will have to modify the Jellyfish in order for it to snap into place fully with iron sights installed like I have here. So my final thoughts on the Strike Industries Jellyfish. I give it a 3 out of 5. The reason I gave it a 3 instead of a higher score is twofold. Number one, I do not like the fact that I have to modify this product in order to fit a fairly standard RMR setup. If I had this running on a shotgun or an AR, then obviously I wouldn't have rear sights to deal with. However, the majority of RMRs are run on pistols, in which case the rear sights are most commonly behind the RMR, exactly where I had to cut a notch out on this one in order for it to fit. The second reason I give it a 3 instead of a higher score is the fact that it is not as transparent as I would like. It's a very smoky, foggy, not so great shooting experience at all. Obviously it is feasible, but it is not ideal by any means. So again, I would not recommend carrying this full time on your carry gun, especially. I would say this is more for storage and transportation. You know, if you were gonna throw this in a gun case or in a backpack with a bunch of other stuff or whatever, and you were worried about your RMR getting damaged, definitely pick up a Strike Industries Jellyfish. It's $12.95 or whatever, $13. No big deal, you know, throw it on there to protect that optic, that investment that you made. But do not pick one up thinking that, you know, you'll be able to run around with it on your gun all the time and use it effectively if stuff hits the fan, okay? This thing is not designed to be worn on your gun all the time. And if it is designed in that way, I think it definitely needs some redesigning. Another thing to keep in mind that is advertised for this thing is that there's a very small hole which supposedly you can tie a string to and then attach it to your belt or, you know, your person in some way, so that when you draw your gun to present, that jellyfish is pulled off of the RMR during your presentation. I do not at all agree with that mentality or that logic, because number one, this thing doesn't just peel off the RMR easily. It snaps into place with those two little indents very effectively, and it's not gonna just pull off, you know, willy-nilly. Secondly, if I'm in the middle of my draw stroke and I, you know, am in a stress situation, I may not have the best grip in the world. Depending on how many times I've practiced that draw stroke under stress, I may have a really junky grip on my pistol. I may be, you know, through the roof with adrenaline, and if I've got a junky grip on my pistol and I'm already focused on something downrange that is a threat to me, if I'm halfway through my draw stroke and all of a sudden my pistol gets a whole bunch of force applied to it from behind, i.e. the string tied to this jellyfish, that thing could just come flying out of my hand, which is a whole nother set of safety issues. So I personally would absolutely not ever tie this thing to my person in any way in hopes that when I draw my gun and present, it'll be ripped off. That is, in my opinion, very unsafe, and I do not recommend it. That's going to do it for this video. Check out thewarriorsolution.com for written reviews of all of the other products I've tested and reviewed so far, as well as original graphic designs for hoodies, t-shirts, hats, and our newest product, canvas prints. This is our Rattle of Freedom rattlesnake, Second Amendment supporting design. Obviously in Virginia we have an don't even get me started. But basically, if you support the Second Amendment and you want one of these hanging in your house, check out thewarriorsolution.com and pick one up. See you next time. The Warrior Solution. Derp.
What?
So initial draw, there it is. Forgot my ear, bro. Hold on. Obviously not ideal, but it is possible. Let's take a look. The reason I did not give it a higher score is two reasons. The reason, two. Something new. It's in front of me. What do we call this thing?
Underwater
No, the rattlesnake.
Yeah,
This one is not Modern Sniper logo.
I remember. That one is.
The Rattle of Freedom?
That sounds familiar. I have to.
After all, you probably had to sell your kidney as well in order to afford your RMR. So, have a nice day.